Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 8 of What If Naruto Was Blamed and It Changed Him, guys. Remember to give this one to 200 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Awakened the Yellow Rinnegan after his exile over on Anime King 3. Link will be at the top of the description for you guys to enjoy. And on this channel, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto was given a gift that changed everything, so go ahead and enjoy it as well. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as Naruto and Temari had headed out, as they made their way to find Mishimoto, as the both of them spent the night as she ended up falling asleep, as her body was still exhausted from the run here through the sand as they made it rather quickly, so they were still tired, well she was. Naruto didn't look like he was tired, as he made her sleep through the night, as he told her she needed to be in top condition tomorrow, so he made her sleep, he was just fine. As they ended up finding Mishimoto, as the battle began, Temari was amazed by his use of wing, not to mention with his combination of fire as well, as Mishimoto had underestimated Naruto, thinking that Naruto was not a match for him. Just because it wasn't a mission to kill him, Naruto was holding back, so he ended up paralyzing Mishimoto. After all, the fox had teaching the complexity of the human body. So with that he went back to Gaara as Gaara thanked him for his help once again. Time skip. As months has passed, as Naruto has cleared through the B rank. As he went to the last one, Naruto has been known as a hunter fox now, as his name has been spreading. Accidentally one of the targets got away, but Naruto had caught him on later, but the man had spread some news about the hunter fox. So his name was spreading, as he didn't want Akatsuki to link him to the hunter name, so he checked under his normal name. As Naruto was gonna take a vacation, some time off. After all, he's been doing it a long time now, just non-stop hunting and killing, as Nadi was happy to hear that when she got the news from Gamikichi, as she wanted to know exactly when he came to the village. It's been a long time since he last saw him. As Naruto stayed at the hotel, it was there that Itachi and Kisame found him, but Naruto made a diversion as he ran off, heading back to Konoha, as Itachi was surprised at Naruto's tactics, that withdrawal, as he thought that Naruto was a bone-headed idiot. So that was rather surprising, yes it was. As Naruto made his way back to Konoha after checking if he was being followed, as he did not alert anyone of his presence, as Naruto was going to, well, change things, as he found out that Sakura has been coming once in a while to take care of his apartment, but he did not went there as he bought 3 apartments as a man who was going towards a hidden waterfall, and he was, well, selling the apartments, as Naruto was going to check out another way of income, as he had made these plans while on the road. As he sent a letter to Jiraiya, telling him that he's back in Konoha, and he would come to Tsunade very soon. As she did not understand why didn't he just come to her right away. As Naruto went by the man who he got his blade from, as the man sharpened it, 2 days passed, he came back and collected his blades, and the amount of item that he wanted, as it was a lot of them. After all, being on the road every time, you can't tell where you're gonna find a store here and there. As Naruto was still in Konoha, no one knowing that he was there. So yeah guys, it was basically that's where we left off. You guys can switch across the page and check it out for yourself. So, what do you say begin this new episode? Currently, Naruto was on top of the Hokage's monument. He knew that the dogs would pick him up a mile away if he head towards the Inusaka compound, and if he was gonna meet Tatsumi and go there to speak to Hana, he needed to inform her firsthand. As he wrote a note, after which he summoned Gamikichi, who was on his belly. It seems like he was in a pond somewhere, as he was summoned as he collapsed down Huh? As he looked around. Naruto? What the hell is going on? Why did you summon me? You know I'm on my vacation, right? My apologies, said Naruto. It's just one more thing. I need you to deliver the scroll to Hana. And I promise I won't bother you for the entire month. The toad snorted as he took the letter. And with that he vanished, as he arrived right in Hana's room. As the girl turned her head around from her table. Oi, Hana, Naruto sent you a message, said Gamikichi, as he wanted to return as he gave her the message. He doesn't expect a reply. And with that he poofed away. As Hana opened the scroll and started to read. Hana-chan, how have you been, my love? I have some great news. Seeing that I managed to end the bingo book B rank, I have accepted the Hokage vacation time. And guess where I am right now? Yeah, you're right. I'm back in the village. And I want to visit you. And maybe get to meet your mother if possible. But the problem is my scent will be sent a mile away from either one of your family. That is why I'm informing you of my arrival to your house, approximately an hour from now. I can't wait to see you. Love, Naruto. A big smile spread across Hana's face. Her boyfriend was finally home. Kiba was currently on a mission with his old genin team, so he wouldn't be a problem. As she went downstairs, as she saw her mother having some breakfast with the dogs, as her triplets were there as well, with her mother dog as well. Hey there, Hana-chan. I see you slept well. I bet you were dreaming of Naruto, weren't you? As Hana blushed, caused Tatsumi to laugh her ass off. As Hana calmed herself, Mom, he's here. I just received a message saying that he was going to visit in an hour. Tatsumi was surprised by the news. Naruto was a popular subject in the house ever since Hana started to date him. Well, although Kiba wasn't familiar with their sister relationship, often he talked highly of the blonde, as Kiba displayed his disliking to the mission that Naruto was on, because Naruto wasn't able to progress in rank because he was on this mission with Jiraiya, while everyone already turned to Jonin. As Tatsumi thought about the effects of ranks for the Hunter Nin, as Naruto was cleaning through the B rank, he got to face Jonin in battle and won. So at the moment he was a genin, there was capable of defeating full-fledged Jonin. So today, I'll finally meet the man of your dreams, Hana-chan. I admit, hearing you speak about him so much spiked my curiosity a bit. Do you think he will stay for real this time or just plain vacation? Asked Tatsumi. Sadly, just for vacation purposes, but that is better than him becoming a man whose only ability is to kill. He still has an A rank, missing the CD with. But I can't help but worry for him now, since he will be facing a ninja that is near Sony in level of power. I know that he is strong, but still. As she looked on the thought of losing him, Tatsumi knew what that look meant, as she had went through the same thing when losing her husband. But it wouldn't do Hana any good if she, well, remember about her deceased father now. She needed to better Hana's mood, so she just played the part of her mother as she smiled, as she explained if Naruto managed to overcome B-level rank shinobis with ease, he could hold himself against A-rank ninjas. Also, if he comes here and sees this worried face of Yaren, he will worry in return. You don't want that, do you? Asked Tatsumi. Hana shook her head as she smiled. You're right, Mom, and besides, Tsunade-sama is gonna try and convince him to stay, so the odds are in our favor. He's still a ninja and therefore subjected to the Hokage orders. As she went towards the fridge, as Tatsumi giggled, as Naruto will have a lot of people getting on his nerve to do not return back to the Hunter program. And if she knew her daughter like she did, Hana will keep on trying to convince him until he left once more. Even though Tatsumi understand and respected Naruto's decision, she knew that he will be out there facing off against elite A-rank enemies and also trying to escape Akatsuki as well. And her daughter has seemed to fall head over heels for him, and she wouldn't want to, well, see her daughter go through a state, the same state as she did when her husband had died in a mission. Meanwhile, Naruto did not know if Jiraiya was in Konoha, but if he was, the place will be the hot spring. Yes, this is exactly where he would be. In 5 minutes, Naruto reached the bushes near the place, as he started to look for the man. It didn't take 1 minute of searching as Naruto heard that giggling, as Jiraiya didn't know that Naruto was behind him as he was watching through his binoculars, scribbling in a notebook. You should have learned a bit of trade from him, brat. Imagine all those ladies. More than this, said the Kyuubi, as images flashed in Naruto's mind of Anko, Kira, Kurna, and Hana, as Naruto tried to blot them out of his mind. Excuse me, Jiraiya-sama, said Naruto. Jiraiya waved his hand, telling the person behind him to go away and stop bothering him. As Naruto poked him on the shoulders, Jiraiya waved him off once again. As Naruto poked him in the head once again, as Jiraiya turned around, as he was annoyed of this, well, whoever was messing with him. As he turned, as he saw Naruto attire in the mask, as he stepped back, but he was too close to the edge as he was in a tree branch, as it was right over the hot spring side, seeing that the ladies were far in the back, as he fell and landed right into the hot springs. As the ladies started to beat the living crap out of him. There was one kunoichi in there though, as she felt something. As Jiraiya scrabbled out of the hot springs as she felt a lingering chakra. She made her way and put on her clothing. As she looked around, it was none other than Kurenai. As all the women started to run down Jiraiya as he ran for his life. Kurenai was enjoying her moments. As little Asuma was yes, she had a son. As she named him Asuma, he was a handful. As she barely got enough sleep in nowadays, as he was always crying. But her kunoichi sense did not fade, even though she was not, doing any kunoichi work right now. As she sensed a lingering chakra nearby. The chakra was familiar, but she couldn't grasp who it belonged to. As she then looked up to see someone high, very high up in the trees. He was standing there like he was waiting for someone. As images and memories from that day start to snap into her brain. Of when she cursed at him. Of when she lost her cool. That was everything against what she was trained for. It was common knowledge the job of a ninja is risky, and death is a part of it. No matter the circumstances, ninja must always be prepared to deal with the situation accordingly. Of course, ninjas are humans, and humans cannot always handle the emotional strain of losing someone you love and then think rationally in response. Asuma's death at the hand of the Akatsuki shocked Kurenai, and it made her angry towards the tail beasts. Said tail beast that was inside of Naruto, said the organization that was coming after him to capture him. So in the end, she blamed her lover's death onto Naruto, as he never asked to host the demon of the Kyuubi, and Kurenai knew that. And even after what she did, he just accepted everything, and saying that he should be blamed for what he did, as she felt incredibly guilty for what she did. As when Hana was talking about him recently, it, brought back memories of what happened that day, and she wanted to apologize even though he said that she didn't have to, but she felt so incredibly guilty. As she approached a tree, she looked up as he was already looking down, as Naruto dropped down, as he landed, as he had on his mask. It was quite scary, as she did not know about him being the Hunter Fox, but she heard about the new Hunter name that was demolishing the books, and also that he was in front of her difference or visible, as he was probably 6 feet tall already, and he was, jacked, she could see it, from how broad his body had extended, as he looked very much smaller back then. Naruto, she said, how long have you been in Konoha? As she really didn't want to, remember old discussions. I just arrived. I asked for a little vacation and Tsunade-sama granted me 2 weeks. I heard little Asuma was born. How is he? As she smiled, a handful. He looked like his father so much. It's a bit scary, she said. And he can be a bit destructive at times. I hire a genuine team to take care of him for today, so that I could get a day to myself. Even though I love him so much, he's quite destructive, but he's my baby, she said. So, I heard that you and Hana are seeing each other. As Naruto looked at her strangely. Oh no, Hana is one of my best friends, she explained. As Naruto was worried that Hana had told everyone about his relationship with her. I'm actually scheduled to make a visit at her house in 1 hour, said Naruto. As Kurenai nodded, as silence reigned the conversation, and it became rather awkward. She did not want to talk about it, and Naruto did not seem any relevance to bring that up. His opinion did not change, though in all this time. Asuma's death, because of the Akatsuki being after him, was controversial to the blonde, as she didn't know why, but she couldn't say the words. She couldn't find to talk to him about this. It just felt awkward. What the hell's wrong with me? I'm a Jonin for Christ's sake. I have a little maniac back at my house, which I take care of every day. Why can't I just talk to him? As she took a breath. I've been working on this. Come on, she psyched herself up. Naruto, I want to apologize for what happened between us, she said. For what reason, said Naruto. That event showed me that the longer I stay in Konoha is, the more for someone else to die because of the people who are after me. Kurenai shook her head. Hear me out, okay? I want to explain. As he simply nodded as she continued. I'll admit, when it happened, my entire life seemed to shatter in a million pieces. I didn't know what to do. Asuma was the man that I love. Every single ninja training that I had so far was swallowed by the pain in my heart. I wanted revenge more than anything. I wanted Akatsuki to pay. In the end, I blamed you, since you're the one that they wanted. I was wrong, very very wrong to do that to you, Naruto. How could I blame you when you never asked to be in this situation? You faced so much hate and anger from everyone, and you didn't need someone else throwing anger towards you. I just want you to know what happened to Asuma was because of Akatsuki and them alone. As she closed her eyes so she wouldn't cry. Being a hunter nin, Naruto knew that things that went off in the past should be left forgotten. Kurone-san, what happened between us is in the past right now, and it should remain in the past. In Naruto, sometimes it's best to forget the minor conflicts for what is really worth our time. You have little Asuma and Hana to look forward to, and I have those that I deeply care for as well. Now though, I'm afraid that the perfect will return, so I'll go visit Hana, he said. As he bid her farewell as he started to walk off, she then called out to him. As she started to walk beside him, as she looked at the mask, those were rather wise words. As she looked at him, she knew some of his peers from the academy, Shino and Shikamaru. But while they all mature, Naruto seemed to be the most mature of them all. Despite being out there alone, it changed him to something for the better. Kurone-san, why are you following me? Naruto asked. He wasn't bothered by the company, but he was curious. I happen to appreciate a little visit to Hana, and since you're going there, I might as well just tag on with you. Unless you don't feel comfortable around me. I was just curious, said Naruto. Besides, better in company with you than someone who wants to kill me, he joked, as she understood what he meant. So tell me, what's it like being out there alone, facing missing nins? Weren't you lonely, she asked. After a while you get used to depending on your own. That's the whole part of facing missing nins. Really, there isn't much to say. You fight and kill most of the time, and be aware of your guard up, if one of them happen to sneak up on you. The problem though, is learn how to cope with the difference between doing your job and being a murderer. I actually requested vacation, after declining it, for fear of becoming something I knew I would regret. I could only half understand what you're saying because of some kills of my own, but getting gratification from those, in the end, loosened my heart. But you on the other hand, you don't receive any gratification. I wonder, could I ever take up what you did and come out unscathed? As Naruto thought about the kills, but that woman, who lost the Uchiha known as Shisui, which she sent back to Konoha that she was already killed by bandits. She was the only proof that Naruto was not a cold-hearted assassin. Hearing him went silent, she spoke. Naruto, you know that I'm probably the last one you won't hear this from, but this job, I'm afraid that it might consume you, she said. It's not a matter of choice, said Naruto. If I chose to stay, they will come here for me, and I can't allow the Akatsuki to take everything away. As Kurone looked at him, she knew that he was suffering, but he was taking everything upon himself. As a lot of ninjas were in Konoha, she knew that some of them might die if the Akatsuki came here to invade, but still, he was putting everything on himself, and she hated that. She will have to talk to Hana about this. Meanwhile, as Jiraiya was hiding in the alleyway, as he finally managed to get away from the ladies, as he cursed the brat for what he has done, but he released a sigh. Well, at least that he was, showing his face now. He was going to visit Tsunade later or sooner, as he was worried about Naruto since the Akatsuki stopped following the false lead, and they were going to be hunting Naruto themselves. As he found a plan though, transform it into Naruto somewhere else, while the hunter is somewhere else, so the Akatsuki will never find out that the hunter fox is Naruto, because if they find out that, his career was over. But that was just a temporary plan. Akatsuki is composed of S-rank missing ninjas, and there isn't much you could keep away from them. He just wished he could reason with Naruto for aborting the hunting program for the meantime, for them to prepare a more suitable counter-intelligence plan. But he knew it was going to be difficult to convince Naruto. Meanwhile, as Naruto knocked on the door was burst open by the Husky as a thing leech, and smashed right into Naruto and started to lick his face, as she had smelled his scent, as Hana was there as well. As Naruto started to scratch the dog's ear. It's good to see you again, Naruto-kun. I missed you, said Hana. I missed you too, Hana, said Naruto. As the dog barked. And you too, said Naruto. How have you been? As the dog barked again. Come on inside, Naruto-kun, said Hana. As Naruto got off ruffling the dog's head, as he made his way inside the house. The moment he was inside once again, he was tackled to the ground once again by the pups he helped retrieve. Naruto was shocked by their size. They have gotten really big. As the dogs would not let him get up. Play with their ears and they will stop. As Naruto started to play with her ears, as they started to lean into the touch. As Naruto looked towards who just speak. As he got up, I can see why my daughter like you, Naruto-kun. You clearly have a way with animals, said Tatsumi. It's a pleasure to meet you. I am Tatsumi Inuzaka. The pleasure is all mine, Inuzaka-sama, said Naruto. Hana-chan told me a lot about you, and it's an honor to meet you. As Naruto tried to act as formal as possible, but she didn't really care about those things. You don't have to be so formal with me, but I request you take off your mask while in here. I want to meet Hana's boyfriend, not the hunter name. Naruto unstrapped the mask as he took it off, showing his blue eyes. As Tatsumi gasped, her daughter told her that he looked like Minato, but she never knew that he was a reincarnation of Minato. Is there something wrong, Naruto asked. As Tatsumi shook her head. Oh, it's nothing. And please don't call me Sama, it's made me look old, just Inazaka-san will do. Now, I believe my daughter is making us some tea. Naruto nodded as he stepped forward, as she was looking at him. If she didn't know better, she would think that him and Minato were related. Naruto was a bit taller, and his body was more built, but the face and the eyes. As mother and son-in-law appeared in the kitchen, they saw Hana and Kurenai discussing about something. However, upon seeing Naruto, they had different reactions. Hana was already used to his gorgeous face, but she stopped what she was talking about in case Naruto overheard them. Kurenai, on the other hand, was shocked. His blue eyes and golden locks were already breathtaking, but his face had changed, and he was like 100 times more handsome. As Kurenai was glad that no one was looking at her because she blushed the smallest amount, as she glad that they wouldn't be seeing her checking out Hana's boyfriend. As they came to sit down, so tell us, Naruto, something about you, said Tatsumi. This was a bit awkward as Naruto did not know if the Kyuubi had did something to her part of the family. Well, there isn't really anything special, said Naruto. I don't see anything different in my life than any orphan shinobi. I have a few personal vices concerning one special type of food, and I don't really have any hobbies. Well, during my trips I found some interest in swimming in lakes and rivers. It somehow relaxed me just be in water and look to the sky. My life as a hunter is very demanding. Sometimes it's hard to make up for the strain I put my body through training and fighting missing ends. Well, that is very interesting, she said. I know some aspects of a hunter nin job, but I could never grasp the entire thing, never been one myself. Some Inuzakas are hunting in though, because of her tracking skills. I also happen to notice that you like to be around your dogs, Naruto, as Hana Husky came over and was using Naruto's feet as a pillow. Well, I can't really understand that, said Naruto. Aside from Akamaru and Hana-chan Huskies, I've never really been around dogs that much. They just seem to like me, he said as he played with the dog's ear, as the dog looked at him with a happy smile, before tackling him once again and started to lick his face. As Hana saw her mother smile, as Hana was happy, it meant the world that she approved Naruto, and her smile was an indication of that. She would just have to speak to her with what she guarded with Kurenai earlier. As the time passed, he talked about the, hunter job, and about Naruto tracking methods, seeing that the Inuzakas were known for their tracking. As Naruto told them about the toad, to use his sensory abilities to find the enemies in the area, where he could spot them out by their different affinities and strength level. As she was amazed by his hunter skills, and especially when it comes to capturing the target, the pressure points of the body and the things that he spoke about were really impressive. All this talk is boring, said the Kyuubi in his head, but Naruto simply ignored him. Before, he started to mess with Naruto by sending images to his head. Naruto froze when he saw the last image. That's Hana's mother. What the hell is wrong with you, said Naruto, as the Kyuubi simply laughed as he kept on sending them. Hey, ever heard of a saying, like mother like daughter, said the Kyuubi, as Naruto started cursed with him in his mind while having a conversation with Tatsumi, as he tried to keep focus on the two others. Time skip later that night, as Naruto had some dinner at the Inuzaka household. He then went home to take a long bath, as he had one more person to visit. As him and the Kyuubi made a deal, he should spend 5 days doing nothing at all. Yes, just relaxing. No chakra manipulation, nothing like that. He can go over the scrolls and earth manipulation, but he was not going to practice anything. As Naruto was making his way, as he knew that Tatsumi was testing him, she wanted to see if he was the right person for her daughter, and he saw the smile on his face whenever her mother smiled, as she was happy as well. As Naruto finally arrived towards the Hokage's tower, Tsunade was currently having a cup of tea. She wants some sake, but Shizune had hid it well this time. One subject was on her mind though, the brat. Knowing that he was within the village walls eased her mind, but not once did he appear to see her. It was unnerving to know how much he changed, and that he didn't see her in the same light anymore, as it was time for her to pack up and leave right now. But she heard a voice. Hello Bachan, it's been a while. As he had on his mask, the response he got was weird, as Tsunade stood there unmoving for a while, as she rushed over and enveloped him in a tight hug. But she tried to anyway. Naruto had gotten so big, she couldn't really envelop him completely anymore, as she had to wrap her arms around his waist. Before she pulled back as she started to shake him. What took you so long to get here, brat? I was beginning to think that you didn't miss me. Huh? She said. But she realized she was shaking him too hard. As she released him, he couldn't talk while she was shaking him like that. Sorry about not visiting you right away, said Naruto. I was on the hunt for so long. I worry about controlling information. The only ones that know I'm in Konoha are you, Kurenai, Hana-chan, and the pervert, and Tatsumi-chan. Also, I had a little run-in with Kisame and Itachi. So, if word got out that I was here, they would come to get me, said Naruto. I'm glad that you're okay, she said. How did you escape them, she asked. Naruto took off his mask, as Tsunade was shocked to see how much he has grown. As he explained to her, they underestimated me, so I used shadow clones to escape. It's good that they found me as Naruto Uzumaki, not the hunter ninja. So, Konoha hasn't changed that much since I left. Tsunade smiled. Of course it looked the same, but what changed for your academy peers? All of them became Jonin now. Hinata was the last one she managed to gain the rank. You're the only one that is still a Genin, Tsunade taunted him. But, instead of saying anything about that, he simply smiled. Yes, I'm also the only Genin in the entire Elemental Nations that was able to take on the entire C and B rank section of the bingo book, unable to escape from S-rank criminals such as the Akatsuki for all this time. I guess ranks doesn't mean much for me nowadays. So what else changed around here? What about the Uchiha? Any news about him to ask? At that, Tsunade got serious. No word on him whatsoever, and that is what concerned me. Ever since that mission that you took with Sakura and Yamato, nothing. And that is what concerned me. I fear that Orochimaru just counted down the seconds left to take his body. But we cannot find him. Did you hear anything while I was there? Naruto shook his head. He didn't focus much on A-rank missing nins. When I return out there, Sasuke will be on my list and I will go after him. Kabuto is an A-rank as well, said Naruto. Orochimaru would be a problem though. Well, you'll worry about that later. The good thing that you're back, safe and sound. So what do you plan to do for your vacation? Well, Furball believed that doing anything besides training is preferable. I don't know, something about ease in the flow of chakra. So I chose to just relax at home, or spend some time at the Hokage's monument, anywhere where people can't see me. You know how it works. Even though she disagreed with that, she was at least glad that he was here. Time skip the next day. Tsunade was happy after seeing her last night and knowing that he was okay, even though she knew that he was okay because she was getting reports. Well, at least he was in here and not out there anymore. But some people were in her office at the moment and she knew it had something to do with Naruto, as there was Tatsumi, Hana, and Kurenai. Good morning, Tsunade-sama, said Tatsumi. As Tsunade nodded, as Tatsumi started to speak, Tsunade-sama, my daughter has a plan for her to stay inside the village. And I know you would like to hear it since you also want him to stay. Tsunade, for her part, really wanted him to stay, but she wasn't going to force him on the matter as she turned towards Hana though. Tsunade-sama, as much as I knew that Naruto-kun wanted to do his job as a hunter nin, I don't want to see him get hurt out there. So I thought about using his rank as a impediment. You could assemble a new rule that hunter nins could be either Jonins or special Jonins. This way, Naruto wouldn't be one until he progressed to Jonin. That's a good plan, except for Naruto. The ranks between ninjas are no longer taken into consideration. It's logical when you put it into cases, as Naruto is a Genin but he took on Jonins and he won. A lot of them. I know you're coming from a good place to this plan, but I don't think you'll appreciate it at all. And the fact remains, Akatsuki is on the run, and Naruto is in danger. The last time Itachi underestimated him, and he escaped. But the next time, he may not be so lucky. What's your plan? I'll try to figure out how to approach him with this. It will take a lot of time to convince him, but I'll call you all here to aid me in talking to him, deal? As the three of them nodded, I wonder how he will take it, she thought. As the Chunin exams was coming up, and she wanted him to take the Chunin exams. Time skip. As Naruto was walking around the village, as he didn't know exactly what to do. As he then turned, feeling something, as he saw someone looking at him. As the person jumped down and landed right beside him, as two of them start to walk. I take it you're not gonna be here too long, said Kakashi. Sometimes it's nice to take your mind off the killing part of the job. It gets hard after a while, you know? As Kakashi nodded, rumors are spreading about a hunter nin that is cleaning the bingo book. They're calling him Hunter Fox. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, no would you? Asked Kakashi. Well, one time this missing nin called me something like that. He managed to get away for a distance before I find him and cut his head off. I wouldn't imagine that he had gotten time to spread that name. At least no one knew what the Hunter Fox looked like, so my identity is safe for now. They continued to walk as Kakashi was the one leading the way, as Naruto wondered why they were going to one of the training grounds. As they arrived there, you know it's rude not to call me your sensei. I know, I didn't train you that much in the past, but I deserve that much. It is just the last time. You know, I can't blow my identity. But what about senpai? I think that will suffice. No, you're probably wondering why I dragged you all the way here to the training ground. As Naruto nodded, I've been thinking to train more in Kinjutsu, and I've been looking for a sparring partner to hone my skills with. Would you be interested? As Kakashi unleashed his Anbu blade from within a scroll. So you want to spar, said Naruto as he unsheathed his newly reformed katana. You know, you could have told me beforehand. You didn't need to keep the mystery going. So how do you want to do this? I was mean to postpone using chakra for a while, but I can do that after this fight. Well, just don't kill me and the rest is fine, said Kakashi. I trust that you have no issues with me using Sharingan. As Naruto looked around, as he removed his mask, Kakashi looked at him. Well, what good would be the Sharingan if you can't look in my eyes, said Naruto. At least this way, I can practice. For when I face the Uchiha brothers, as Kakashi's eyes smiled, as he fell into Anbu style of fighting, is Sharingan looking over Naruto, as Naruto was not looking at him but his feet. Kakashi watched the blonde, as Naruto shot forward. Kakashi parried the attack and pushed it to the left, as he swinged out with a leg, but Naruto tilted his head and bring around his massive blade as Kakashi brought up his blade to block it. Kakashi could feel a strain, as Naruto then jumped back. Well, that isn't going to work, he said. Kakashi looked at his blade. The thing was chipped up in places, as he looked at Naruto. I thought we said you weren't going to try to kill me. That was a rather brutal attack. My style, mostly focused on speed and strength, said Naruto. But your blade is rather old. You know, I can take you to a friend to get a new, refined blade that would work better, senpai, said Naruto. Well, that sounds good, said Kakashi. As Naruto placed on back his mask. Time skip. Aikido hasn't gotten a lot of customers this morning. Well, a few had come buying kunais and shurikens. But, yeah. So it wasn't a busy day, as his head was currently on the counter when he heard the doorbell. As he looked up, "Ah, Naruto-san," he said, as he smiled. "It's great to see a loyal customer. So how's the blade coming along?" Naruto unsheathed it. "It feels heavier than before." As Aikido smiled. "Anyway," said Naruto, "I brought a new customer for you. I'm sure you know Kakashi Atake. He's my sensei, and currently in search of a good sword." As Aikido greeted the son of Sakumo. "Ah, it's good that you're advertising my shop. Now tell me, what kind of a sword are you looking for?" "Kakashi-san." Kakashi's eyes smiled, as he went to look at the vast display of swords that hang on the wall. "I'm used to ninjato, and I rely on speed, mostly, not strength as Naruto. The material has to be resistant, since I don't want my student to chop my head off because my sword couldn't parry his." As Kakashi found a blade, as the hilt had a white wolf on it. Well, slim. For quick and fast movements, that would be indeed for your fighting style. Would you like to test it out? No. It should be fine, said Kakashi. Well, if you ever need any work done on it, just come by and visit me. I'll get it for you as fast as possible. Time skip at the Hokage's office. Tsunade was reading a mission report, as she heard something at the window. "Hello, Haim." As she snorted. "Come on, I thought you would miss me. And why would I miss someone like you?" she said. "Oh, that's hard," she said, as he plopped down on the couch. "What do you want, Jiraiya? As you can see, I'm kinda busy." "Well, I have some news," as he got serious. "Orochimaru is dead." Tsunade snapped her eyes towards him. "I got the information that he was dead, and you will never guess who killed him." "Let me guess. Sasuke Uchiha," said Tsunade. Tsunade nodded. She knew that Orochimaru was going to try and take Sasuke's body, but it seems that the Uchiha finally gained some sense and retaliate. Yesterday, Sasuke freed some prisoners from an isolated facility located in the middle of the ocean. I don't know if he told them to spread the word or not, but regardless, the word was spread. "My character assumed that he's not coming back to Konoha," said Tsunade. As Jiraiya nodded. "From what I know, he's gathered a group of individuals for his quest to kill his brother." Tsunade got up as she looked towards the Hokage's monument. "I wonder, how will Sakura and Naruto take the news? Naruto is a wild card right now. I don't know how he thinks at the moment about the Uchiha, but Sakura still has feelings for him in more ways than I wish she would forget about them. But she has them. I wouldn't be surprised if she wants to go after him one more time." "What do you think?" Tsunade asked. I could be wrong, but I don't think that Naruto would have the same, well, regards when it comes to Sasuke. It won't matter anyway. As soon as he leaves once more, he will meet Sasuke, but this time with another purpose." Tsunade shook her head. "Sasuke is not in the bingo book. Sakura made that request from me, and I end up granting it. Also, a couple of people came in this morning, and they want Naruto to stop his hunter named job, and they gave me an idea. Naruto is strong, but he's done with the B rank. He'll be facing A rank missing names now. And they were the elites of Konoha. Plus, Akatsuki stopped falling for your intelligence. Do you have any guarantee that you remain safe out there? Asked Nelly. He's not gonna like that Allheim, not one bit. How are you gonna tell him? I don't know yet. But I'll think of something once I am ready to inform him about Orochimaru's death. And that Sasuke was the one that did it. Time skip as Naruto went to the Hunter Commander. As he wanted a update copy of the bingo book. Some of the A-rank ninjas are in cahoots with other village ninjas. After that, he made his way towards the Inuzaka residence, as Tasume had invited him for dinner, as Naruto had protests about the fact that Kiba will be there and find out about his identity. But even if he did, he wouldn't even tell a soul, and they promised him on that. As Naruto got there, as Tasume was the one that greeted him at the door. When Naruto made his way inside, Kiba turned. Kiba was shocked, saying that Naruto wasn't wearing his mask, as Kiba wondered what the hell was going on. Kiba was wearing a fishnet shirt and the standard Jonin vest. As Kiba rubbed his face, as Naruto was still there. As next came a barrage of questions. Despite the bunch of questions about where he has been and why was he a hunter in, Kiba didn't ask why he was here. As the both of them were in the living room, as Kiba was telling him about the Rookie 9 since everything. Well, the only one that haven't progressed yet is you. Hinata was the last one who achieved the rank of Jonin, and Neji team was drafted by Anvu just recently. How about you though? Asked Kiba. I don't have any interest in rising in rank right now, Kiba. During my travels, I face off against a lot of Jonin. 11 mixing nins. I guess that ranks doesn't mean much to me nowadays, said Naruto. Are you kidding? Being a Jonin has its perks. You have a bigger salary, access to high level jutsus, not to mention the respect that comes along with the job. Weren't you the one that kept on shouting about being Hokage? You won't be able to unless you reach the rank of Jonin. But Naruto simply shrugged with his shoulders. But before anyone could say anything else, Naruto-kun, where are you? Asked Hana. Oh, there you are. I was wondering if you care for to walk after dinner, asked Hana. As Naruto turned. Wait, what? Kiba said. As Kiba blinked twice. Dating Hunter Nin. Not stop talking. Naruto, Hunter Nin. Naruto, are you dating my sister? As Naruto simply stood there, very calm, as Hana was the one to speak. Yes, we are, Kiba. I've been meaning to tell you soon. Actually, we've been dating for several months now. As she embraced Naruto from behind to tease her brother. See you later, Kiba, said Naruto. As Naruto had to move as Kiba fly outside because he was about to attack Naruto. As Naruto stepped outside, Kiba lashed towards him again as Naruto dodged. As Kiba dived towards him. Why are you attacking me? Said Naruto. You're my friend and she's my sister. This is not gonna happen, Kiba said. As Kiba launched himself towards Naruto once again. As Naruto waited until Kiba was a second away from him before he tilted his body. He then placed a hand on Kiba's shoulder as he hit one of Kiba's nerve points. Kiba fell right in his arm as he gently placed him on the ground. What's going on? Asked Tasume. Well, he found out about us dating and went all ballistic. Don't worry, he's just asleep, said Naruto. I knew something like this would happen, said Tasume. As Akamaru came and picked up Kiba on his back and brought him back in the house. Meanwhile, in a desert area, after gathering the last member of his team to aid him for his goal, Sasuke was heading towards where his clan used for weapons and medical supplies. On the outside, he remained cool and distant, while Suigetsu and Karen were screaming at each other. As he walked, something was playing on his mind though. Some information he overheard Kabuto and Orochimaru talking about. Kabuto was on edge from a hunter named from Konoha who had been going through the bingo book, and he wiped out the entire section of the B rank, namely Jonin level shinobis. As Sasuke heard the name Hunter Fox, as he started to, well, put that name together with that certain blonde nuisance. But it couldn't be, right? Even though Sasuke was considered A rank because of Sharingan and being trained under Orochimaru tutelage, you wonder if this Hunter Fox was after him as well. As he frowned, someone was hot on his trail then. His team could take care of that person though. Jugo was a nutcase, but he was a powerhouse. Suigetsu was almost indestructible because of his water capabilities. Only Sasuke knew how to beat him, and that was with using lightning, or use a potent fire jutsu that would evaporate every cells from his body. And if this person really was Naruto didn't have any skills that could beat Suigetsu. The Rasengan wouldn't work. Shadow clones. Suigetsu could simply cut through them, But if the dope had learned any elemental attacks, Sasuke knew that he had a large chakra capacity so he can use them without even sweating. Sasuke didn't even talk about Sakura because she didn't even deserve his attention. He knew that she was an apprentice to Tsunade, but her skills was on medical ninjutsu, which was useless against his team. As he was about to ponder more about the subject, "Move your ass, Suigetsu, or we will leave you behind," said Karen, as he was drinking water because of the desert hot temperature. "Don't you have somewhere to go, Karen? Stop bugging me. I'll reach you guys in the end," said Suigetsu, as Sasuke tried to ignore them. Meanwhile, inside of a cave, unknown location, there was a reason no one ever found out where the Akatsuki hideout was, because he always kept on the move. As their astral projections were gathered, Itachi Kisame reported her findings about the Kyuubi Jinchuriki pain. As Itachi nodded, "We spotted Naruto inside of a hotel in Fire Country and moved to subdue him, but we did not count on him to trick us by using a mass shutdown technique as distraction before his escape," said Itachi, until a new member Tobi spoke up. "Tricked by a teenager, Itachi-senpai. I imagine that the almighty Uchiha clan would not be fooled so easily, huh?" But Itachi paid him no mind. "We have reason to believe that Uzumaki Naruto is not the same goofy, hot-headed shinobis from before." I detected a level of confidence. I have yet to determine his new skills, because so far he hasn't used anything else from the technique he is known for. But records from Konoha saying that he's still a genin, because he hadn't applied for any Chunin exam since the one from the Sun and Sand invasion. "Do you have his position now?" asked Pain, as both of them said no. As Kisame elaborated further, "The brat is slippery. Even until now we had no luck tracking his leads, even after stopped following the Sannin trails. But they did manage to kill a zombie duo because of it. Whether he returned to Konoha or not, we have no clue." As Pain went silent for a while, Itachi Kisame, "I'll be tracking the Kyuubi Jinchuriki personally. First, we must eliminate our spy from Konoha before they discover anything. He knew of the dojutsu secret and as such, became a high liability. Zetsu will be hunting Danzo and kill him. For now, you two will be focusing on capturing the ATL Jinchuriki," said Pain. Earn a nod from the others as their actual projection faded. Once they were gone, Pain turned towards the orange mask, asking him, "What do you think about all this?" As the man's voice was different, darker. "The Rinnegan is still a secret to everyone, hence why you still have an advantage. However, the chance of you running to Sannin Jiraiya are high, and he will be too tough to beat. Not to mention Kakashi Atake and some of the village elite shinobis. Should you go alone, you will end up facing multiple foes. You're a key part of the plan, Pain. For now, focus on tracking him using Konan. Once you do, try to lure him into a trap and capture him. Even if he's gotten a little smarter, he's still a goof." Time skip the next day, as Naruto heard a knock on his door, as that was rather surprising. Who was supposed to be here? Close to the door was a window, as he looked through it, as Kakashi was standing there. Leave it to Kakashi to find out where he now lived. As Naruto opened the door, "Yo, Naruto." Naruto sighed with people like Kakashi called out his name. How long would it take for people to find out that he was here? "Would you please not call me by my name? I'm trying to keep my presence here a secret. And how the hell did you find me?" Kakashi's eyes smiled. "Sorry about the name thing. Also, I went to their old apartment and it was empty. Pretty clever of you, placing this place under Hunter Fox's name. I had to call in some favors of mine to get this information." Naruto sighed and opened the door as Kakashi entered. As Kakashi saw photos of the sea, a lot of them. "I recently acquired this place from a businessman from Sea Country. Didn't bother to take those pictures off since I won't be in the village for long. So, what is it that you need her to ask?" "Nade-sama wanted to talk to us about something important that happened. She's expecting us in half an hour." As Naruto wondered what did she want, as Hunter needs to travel alone, so what could be important for him to hear? Well, it must be something about the Akatsuki. As Naruto got his Hunter attire, time skip, Hokage's office. As the duo entered the office, as Tsunade was asleep. As Naruto sighed at that, he went and he stopped, as he picked up a book about human anatomy. Ever since learning about the pressure points, he became rather interested in ways to take people out. As Kakashi pulled out his favorite book, Jiraiya entered through the window, as he saw Tsunade asleep, and Naruto and Kakashi just standing there in the corner. A smirk came on Jiraiya's face as he grabbed a book as well, and leaned up against the wall as well. As Tsunade woke up, as she looked over towards them, they didn't even notice that she was awake, or they were pretending not to. Three of them reading a book. "May I ask, why are the three of you standing there?" she said. As the three of them lift their head in a rather lazy fashion, Did you say something, Tsunade-sama? The three of them asked. Tsunade eyebrow twitched violently before she calmed herself. If I didn't know any better, I would say that you're working on learn about medical jutsus, she said. Tsunade calling Naruto by its hunter name. Actually, I'm just learning about specific points to hit my enemies. Sometimes, it is good to improvise in the field, Tsunade-sama. I appreciate the book. I didn't know that you can take out someone from hitting them on a special part of the neck. Most interesting, what else can I use here? Let's see. As Tsunade was irritated, he was taking that knowledge and using it how to kill people. She couldn't fault him for things like this. He was a hunter nin after all. Well, since your presence here is secret, I'll talk to Sakura later. Yesterday, Jiraiya brought me some information. Sasuke Uchiha has killed Orochimaru. Tsunade waited for a response. Some kind of a verbal tick. Just from his movements, but she saw nothing. Even Kakashi looked a bit surprised before returning back to his lazy display. Well, that is one less S-rank to hunt in the future. So what is next? Considering that he's still going after Itachi. If I'm correct, said Naruto. Tsunade nodded. As Jiraiya looked at Tsunade, giving her that face, he was right. Naruto did not give a damn about Sasuke. Given your response, am I wrong to assume that you don't want to bring him back? I know for a fact that Sakura will ask for a mission like this. What are your thoughts on this, she asked. Sasuke is considered an A-rank missing in. Hence, he will be on my list as soon as I step foot out of this village. So, there isn't really a, well, reason for you to assign a mission. Unless though, said Naruto, you didn't declare him missing in. I checked our updated bingo book and he was not there. As Tsunade said nothing about that. I see. Well then, Sakura would demand a rescue mission. I don't know if she's changed while I was gone. But, it seems that the only person who really worship him is her. In the end though, it's really not my problem, said Naruto. As they realized that Naruto really didn't care about Sasuke one bit. Kakashi didn't spoke. Do you have any more information on him, Jiraiya-sama? He's gathered 3 more allies in his quest for his vengeance. One of them was next in line to take Zabuza, placed as the 7 Ninja Swordsman, and the other one is known to be the reason Orochimaru created his cursed seals. It was by using that man. The last member of the team is a girl that can sense chakra from a distance. Their skills is unknown for now. As Naruto felt like his presence were no longer needed. Well, since you don't need me here, I'll take my leave now. But Tsunade shouted his name. Naruto, wait a moment, she said. Naruto paused. What is it, Hokage-sama, he asked. Naruto, I want to talk about your position as a hunter nin. You see, just as the requirements of obtaining Anvo is tuning and higher. As she took a long look at him, deciding whether to go through it, as it seemed like her mind was made up. In order to join the hunter division, you have to obtain the rank of tuning or higher as well. As she waited for something to come from him, but none did. I know you did good on the job. Even the hunter nin chiefs spoke highly of you, but you're still just a genin, and I don't believe you have the mind ready to cope with this job. On several occasions, I heard Gamikichi saying that you changed. Hence why, I believe, it is necessary that you upgrade in ranks before going after A-rank missing nins. As the room was thick and tense, everyone waiting for Naruto's reaction, as he just looked at Tsunade, as no one has known how he was feeling because of the mask. As Tsunade felt bad that she had to do this, but she just didn't want him to go out there and face off against A-rank ninjas by himself. As Naruto looked at her, as he opened his mouth to say, but guys, be in subscribe right here. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off now, see you guys soon, peace. Oh yeah, go ahead and check out Anime King 3, link will be at the top of the description, enjoy.